Hello, my name is Clara, and in the queer literature class of the University of Guam, today I will talk about lesbian teenagers and the impact of the society and family on their lives within the graphic novel called Blue is the Warmest Color. The piece of literature I would like to present you, as I said, is Blue is the Warmest Color. It is a graphic novel written and drawn by Julie Marot in 2010. Since Julie Marot is a French author, her artwork was written in French, and the original title of her piece is Le bleu est une couleur chaude. The characters in Blue is the Warmest Color are Clementine and Emma. Both of the girls are in a love relationship. The book starts with the death of Clementine, and as her last wishes, she wanted Emma to read her diaries that she wrote when she was 15, 16, which was the age when she met Emma for the first time. So as us readers, we are discovering their love story. Emma as well is discovering Clementine's perspective of their love story. Blue is the Warmest Color is a graphic novel meaningful in queer literature because it covers many themes. I will talk today about these themes that I will say out loud. So there's about heteronormativity, the discovery of queerness, the refusal of queerness, the acceptance and hiding it from the family, the revelation to the family, the negative reaction of the family, and the impact of parents on an LGBTQ child. So the first problem LGBTQ teenagers may face is the fact that we live in an heteronormativity society, meaning that the baseline of the life is about heterosexual lives. So whether it's about a love relationship or a family, for example, representation, it will always be with a man and a woman together. And this causes a problem with LGBTQ teens because, as Amaury said, youth are socialized from a young age through the lens of heteronormativity and cisnormativity, or the view that everyone is heterosexual and straight, which creates difficult conditions for LGBTQ students. So what it means is that the LGBTQ teens cannot be or see that they are represented in the society. It can be through social medias or the medias such as the reading, the books, and the movies. And that creates a problem for them because they don't see their own truth represented outside of their own world. So as I said, since the LGBTQ people cannot see themselves through others, it has negative impacts on them. Amaury says that LGBTQ couples often have to navigate through judgment, rejection from their families of origin and in systems. So this is like the main theme I want to cover today. It's about rejection from the families, since Emma and Clementine will suffer from this problem as well because they are in a love relationship, a lesbian love relationship. So as we can see on page 16, the behavior of Clementine shows that she lives in a heterosexual society because as she's a sophomore in high school, she has a heterosexual relationship with Thomas, who is a boy. And then we can see on page 20 that even though she doesn't really like Thomas, she really says, since I'm a girl and he's a boy, they have to be together because a girl goes with a boy and a boy goes with a girl. girls together cannot go together as a couple and have experienced a love relationship. So we can see that even her, who knows that she might like girls, her internal judgment and internal thoughts were built by the heteronormativity society, meaning that she cannot be with a girl, she has to be with a boy, and she has to suppress her feelings and like behave in a way that the society wants her to behave. The first phase of LGBTQ people is about the discovery phase of their queerness. So Amari says that the youth initially recognize that they are attracted to another person of the same gender around the age of 10. It can go from 7 to 13 years old. In this context of the graphic novel, I mean, Clementine is a sophomore, so she's about 15 years old. So she's a bit old than the average, but I believe that the fact that she lives again in a heteronormative society affects the fact that she cannot express herself as an early age and that she will be like older and she will discover that her own sexuality at a later time. So the moment that made Clementine realize that she might be a lesbian girl is that she had a erotical dream with a woman. So you can see in page 18 and 19 that she has a dream that a girl is touching her in a sexual way and that she likes it. So she wakes up, she's confused, she's not sure about the feelings that she's feeling right now because she likes it, but she doesn't know if she's allowed to like it. Again, it's because of the heteronormative society that tells her that she's not allowed to like girls, she has to like boys. So she lives in a confused state that on one side she likes it and on another side she feels bad about liking it. So after realizing that she likes girls, Clementine will hide it from her family. This is a not a normal but a typical behavior that LGBTQ teens have because, as Amaury said, LGBTQ people continue to face discrimination from their birth families, um, which means that they might have threats from social and legal institutions, sorry, and some may be hesitant to reveal their identities or relationships because it might have an impact on the institutions around them. So in Clementine's context, it would be with her family. So she doesn't know if her family will accept her and accept her the fact that she's a lesbian. So in the graphic novel, at one point, Clementine invites Emma over at her family's house, and the mom of Clementine says, "Oh, I'm so happy that you are the friend of Clementine." So in order to hide the fact that they are in a love relationship, Emma pretends to be just a friend so she would be accepted by the family of Clementine. The reaction of the family towards the fact that the child is part of the LGBTQ community will have a big impact on them and the child. So as Amaury said, accepting families report greater acceptance of their own sexual identity, less internalized homophobia, a higher self-esteem, more social support, better overall physical and mental health, less substance abuse, and lower risk of suicide. So meaning that if a family accepts their child's LGBTQ identity, everything will be more positive and better in a way. So as it says on the physical and mental health, and the child will have as well more success in life. The problem here in this graphic novel is that, not in the graphic novel, but I mean in the storyline of Clémentine and Emma, is that Clémentine doesn't decide when she wants to come out to her parents. Emma walks out of Clémentine's room after they had a sexual intercourse, and the mom and the dad see them, and they discover that they're having, as I said, sexual intercourse, and they refuse, like, automatically the fact that her daughter is a lesbian. So with the emotions of being scared, being frustrated, to be afraid, and to feel confused, the parents are rejecting their daughter and Emma as well, outside of the house. As you can see here, the mom and the dad expect Emma and Clémentine to take all their stuff and get out of the house. And you can see on Emma's face that she's very sad about it, because she didn't expect her parents to be this crude and this hard on her. Maybe as well not Emma, Clémentine feels sad that she didn't have the power over when she wants to come out, and maybe this event happened so fast that she didn't even have time to process her emotions. So when she saw that the door was closed in front of her, now she was able to burst in tears and understand the fact that her parents might not love her as I thought they would. And like, she's facing rejection, and that's very sad for her. As Amaury said, family support and acceptance is an important psychological resource that can influence the LGBTQ child well-being in a number of ways. So as we saw in the graphic novel, the fact that the family of Clémentine doesn't accept her, well, she feels abandoned and sad, which is very legitimate. And also, some families experience the feeling of loss, grief, and shame, among others, when they find that they have LGBTQ family members. So this might explain the reaction of the parents, because living in a heteronormative society, the parents they expect that their child would be a heterosexual as well. So seeing in a very fast way and raw way, I would say, because Emma was naked in the kitchen, that their daughter is a lesbian might be very hard for the parent to accept, and they might feel, as I said, the emotions of shame, loss, and grief. Because, as Amaury said, the parents are now feeling that they have to give up maybe the idea of marriage, or the idea that they would have grandchildren in the future. So another way the families of LGBTQ children might react is that they say that the child is just going through a phase, as John's mentioned. It's not the case in the graphic novel, but I thought it was meaningful to say, because I believe it's a reality of a lot of LGBTQ teens when they come out to their family. As we saw in the graphic novel, well, the parents are frustrated because they learned that their child is part of the LGBTQ community. Some parents can refuse to continue interacting to their child, which is something we saw, but also some parents in the study of John said that they would cut financial support and eject them from their home, which is something we saw in the graphic novel. Clémentine is abandoned by her parent. They really took her out and closed the door so she cannot come back because of her because of the fact that she's a lesbian. We saw the scene where the parents learn that Clementine is a lesbian, but there's a part in page 14 and page 25 where it's a jump in the future where Emma is much older and still she interacts with Clementine's parents, and tough to it's still tough for her to deal with them because the father of Clementine is doesn't accept the relationship between the two women. I think it's a jump of 10 years in the future, 10 or 15 years. So even after 10 and 15 years, the dad still refuses her daughter to be a lesbian. So we can see on page 14 that the mom tries to cover for the dad's reaction, but on page 27, it causes arguments, and at one point, Emma leaves the table because she doesn't feel good about it. So we saw that um, the position of the family while they learn that their child is part of the LGBTQ has a big impact on the child's future. So we saw that Clementine's family doesn't accept the fact that she's a lesbian, but Emma's family accepts their homosexuality. So when they are, sorry, so when they are taken away from Clementine's house, they go to Emma's house and they are welcome. And that's where we saw on page 130 that Emma and Clementine are building a life together, they are growing together, and they are having a thriving and loving relationship because of the comfort, security, and approval of Emma's parents. They are able to build their life and feel good about themselves on the mental and physical aspect, but as well in the school, as we can see, and like with their family and their friends, they feel loved and supported. To conclude, Blue is the Warmest Color is a great book and graphic novel that contributes to queer literature because it covers realistic themes such as the discovery and exploration of the lesbian sexuality. And moreover, it covers the impact of heteronormativity and the family's reaction to the announcement of homosexuality. I believe that queer literature is still a progressing study and we lack of meaningful artwork with lesbian stories. And I believe that Blue is the Warmest Color is a book that everybody should read because of the images are powerful, the storyline is amazing, the characters are so lovable, but I feel that as well the everything's really realistic and it's not a love story with a happy ending, and I believe that this makes the story even more powerful because of how sad it ends. This story leaves a big emotion on the readers as he or she closes the book. I think everybody should read it, and now that they have made a movie about it, I feel like it's even more accessible. It's an even more accessible story, which makes the world connect even more with the reality of lesbian teenagers. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. It's really appreciated. Hope you learned something today. And here's my works cited list. No, I will show it on the next slide. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Struggling with all of that, but yes, here's my works cited list. So I worked with Amaury's work from the the readings we had to do all through the semester, and I worked with a few studies that I found online, and then I was able to cite um, the graphic novel. So again, thank you for listening to me. Hope you have a great day or a great night, and see you next time.